Hello and welcome to Scrapping on the Fly. My name is Kristen and I am here with Scrap a Sketch, and they're 4 seasons in 1 month where Lisa Sikorsky is creating a sketch 3 times in the week, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, and each week in April is a new season. So the first week in April, the first, second, and third, I have been working on these first 3, and they are for the spring, which is what Lisa had set up. And there are some guest designers who are creating layouts for each month to share, or each sketch to share. Mine is later in the month, but I did decide that I wanted to go ahead and create some process videos for the month. So I decided to use this color study by Vicki Boutin because, well, one reason in particular, and I'll get to that in a second, but it has gorgeous florals and lots of really vibrant colors. And typically vibrant is more summer themed in my head, but like I said, there are some lighter colors and lots of florals, and that's what spring kind of makes me think, is florals, rainbows, and so Vicki Boutin is definitely one for that. I have these 2 pictures that I'm going to be scrapbooking, and one is me and one is my sister, and we are singing into a sucker as we're driving down the road, and these are actually taken over 2 years apart. And I took the one of my sister and I found the one of me, and I just had to scrapbook them together. So this little half circle-y bit on the back, I had an idea because there's a Vicki Boutin paper that's like almost a full circle, not the pie chart one, but it's just like a yellow circle. So I thought I'm going to pull that out and I'm going to use that instead of cutting another circle, because I do have some circles. But in February, with Follow a Sketch February, one of the sketches, I believe it was on the 26th, had this pie chart looking layout, and I used the Vicki Boutin color study that had the full circle, and I ended up having to cut some of it off because it was too big. So this is the leftover, and I thought this would be perfect for that circle part. So I'm going to use that and see, and all of this other fabulousness, and let's see how this goes. So the first thing I did was cut my pictures down to, I wanted them to be at least 3.5 by 4, but I got them down to 3.25 by 4. And that was closer to what I wanted them. Wanted them a little thinner. So now I'm flipping through the project pad to see what's going to work as a background page with this circle. So it's got all the different colors, and I really considered that teal with the painted stripe, but I really love the pop of this green. Plus I feel like it's very springy, and I'm going to trim off that blue and purple part at the end because I only need like a half a circle. And so I figured I would just cut those off and finish it off and start with yellow and end with like a pinky purple. So I'm pulling out the scraps that I can use to make those 2 horizontal stripes. And in the sketch, one is a wider stripe and one is like a scallop. I'm not necessarily going to do that, but I'm trying to figure out right now which one's going to look best. So I'm just laying them all down like there. This is what I really want to use, but I know there's a big chunk and it's not going to be thick enough. So that's why I'm tapping my finger trying to figure it out. I worked it out so that I could use that because I really wanted to use this black squiggly branding strip as my second part. So there is a gap in what I cut. It's about 1.25 inches, and there is a gap in what I cut, but I'm going to fix that, and so you won't even see it. So now I am, I believe, going to cut the blue and the purple part off, and because I felt like the yellow, orange, pink, and that light pinky purple were more spring. That red's pretty bold, but the rest of them I felt was more of spring colors. And I'm really, really excited with how this turned out. So, and I have looked at this layout and thought, should I do this? Should I add this? Should I add that? And I do add a few little things after I'm done recording, but I'll let you know. So I take this and I just trim a little bit off of each side. So the white is ending each side. So it gives a little bit of a difference in the colors because there's so much color on this layout, which is what I wanted. I mean, I think rainbows are a spring thing, and so I felt like this was definitely going to fit with that. So I tack this down and I want this to go fully across. Now I have cut this green paper to 11 3/4 by 11 3/4 because in this sketch it is matted and I really do love the look of that. So I cut it down. I only want a very thin border, so I just cut it 1/4 inch on the top and the side. So I start going through my ephemera, and this is all Vicky Bouton ephemera. I really was thinking about these florals, but they just don't feel right. Like they don't have the curve I need for them to work right with the rainbow shape. And then I think, well, I'm going to pull this circle out because there are some circly bits in the sketch at the bottom especially. And I think maybe I'll pull that out. And I'm looking for something to use as my title, which is supposed to be to the left of the pictures. So I'm just kind of going through, and a lot of this is like a dingy white, and there's not a lot of anything except those two little bits of white at the end. So it would have been okay, but I just wasn't calling me. So I set a couple things off to the side, and I moved my little ephemera kit. And this, I looked through my papers that I could map my pictures and decided to use this piece of paper from the project pad. And it's little circles that have the days of the week in them. And I cut those down to 3.5 by 4.25, so it gives me a 1/4 inch border. And when I mapped my sister's picture, I realized that the majority of those little circly bits are going to be on the inside, on the left side, and that's going to get covered up. So I turn it around. So officially, the words are upside down, but you can barely see them in the little bitty strip, so I'm not worried about it. Obviously, if it had a wider border and you could see some of the words, I would be more concerned. But you can barely see it, and it almost looks like an N instead of a U in like Tuesday or something. So I just put one little bit of the adhesive on here, and just so I can lay them down and they won't move. However, I decide I want to ink them. And so I get my ink pad, my Tim Holtz Distress ink, and use the tumble glass. And it's just a light blue. There's not a lot of blue on here because most of it got pulled out when I cut those two parts of the rainbow out, or the color wheel. But I'm okay with that. But the blue I thought would just give it a little bit of a difference, and it would also help not use those white borders or the white, around the paper. So I thought I'd use these hearts, but they don't fit right. They did get cut out of Vicky Bouton paper. That's why I thought they would work well. But because my pictures are covering up so much of that middle space, I decided I was going to just do some florals. So I get out my project pad because I want to use some of these stickers first. I know I want to use that butterfly at the top like they have in the sketch. Like I almost copied the sketch in certain ways because I put a butterfly at the top and a butterfly at the bottom. I get this floral and I cut it in half, and I only need that bit. I hate to waste, so I just put that back down. And then I just start pulling other things that are in the yellow, orange, pink family because I want to fill in these spaces with different stickers and chipboard and ephemera. At first only from the Vicky Bouton collection, but then I'm going to pull some Jolie's boutique embellishments out as well to fill in especially the orange and the yellow spots. So I just start adding whatever is in the color family in those areas. And then this is the butterfly that I add. I considered watercoloring it because it looks like it's just calling for that. And I'm looking at the sketch and I'm trying to decide, is there anything else that I need that I could pull from this sticker sheet. And I'm thinking about using some of the labels up there that are colors, but it's just not what I want to do. So I think I'm about to put the project pad away for now. Keep looking at the sketch. I'm trying to figure out where to put, there's a circular bit that is underneath the pictures. And I pull this little, viewfinder thing that says life in full color, and it has all the colors in it, and I just love that, and it goes along with the sketch, so I get that in there. And just start pulling different things from, these are from like the sticker sheets from the Vicky Bouton collection. And in the pink, I have a thing that says Daily Trust. I'm sure my sister's going to lose some trust in me because I'm making this video and sharing this picture. And I have scrapbooked this picture before, and it may very well have been documented in a video. I can't remember, but I've documented our trip to Texas, which is what is happening in the picture with where she is. We were driving to Texas, unfortunately, for my uncle's funeral, and she was singing along with the music. And the other picture was 2 years ago, well, 3 years now, in 2019, on our way to North Carolina to our vacation spot where we go every year. And I was driving and singing all sorts of fabulous fun stuff into a sucker. Sorry about that squeaky crack. That is my desk. So now I've gotten into the Jolies and my spring ephemera that I have stashed for this event. I just start pulling the pinks and the reds, just a few reds. Like I pulled like a couple of red florals, or one red floral and some gems. But I pull these yellow flowers out, and they're really big, but I'm okay with that. I like the way that it ends up because I don't want it to all be uniform. So these are different than the florals that I use in the orange, and they're different than what I use in the pink, and they're different than what I use in the red. So I like that because it's just different. And so I set the project pad aside because I think I'm done with it. I can't remember if I pull it back out. But I've pulled a couple word phrases at the bottom that are in the yellow, and it says our notes because we're singing. I felt like that was, I was going to build on that and make a title out of that. But I just think I decided that I was going to put, that's just going to be the title, is our notes. I haven't decided if I'm going to add something else because I don't, at the end of this, there is not a set title there, just a bunch of words. Like I've added a lot of words. So I pull out my Vicky Bouton stickers from Thicker, and I add a little orange circle says live in today, and a little arrow right there that's hot pink and it says awesomeness. And then there's another little arrow that I put, like a banner with an arrow, a pointed part at the top. It says family moments. And then there's a little pink one that I put down right just a little bit on top of the viewfinder that says carefree. And I think that's all the wordy bits that are on here. And then I just add like a little bird that's in the pinkish purple color family over there next to my sister's picture. I put the butterfly with the shiny silver on it down there, hanging off the viewfinder. I don't cover up any of the words on there, which is what I wanted. And other than that, I just add a ton of florals and some circles that have hearts in them in the orange and the yellow area. Got a couple butterflies in the yellow. And oh, this is the little thing that says carefree, and I'm trying to fit it in the pink, but I don't want to put it just on the rainbow part. So I just put it right below my picture. It just says carefree. And now I'm just looking to see if there's anything else I want to add. I finish off with a couple more yellow florals that I had in a different place that I used the other day. And I am super happy with how full the spaces are. There is a little green that shows through, but I'm okay with that. I really, really, really wanted to use this as my title. It says create your own beautiful world, but it's just not going to fit there. Like it's going to completely change things, and I don't really like the way that it looks. I guess if I put the title at the top, almost it would have worked, but I just didn't like that. So I moved on and got a couple of my these are Paper Studio enamel dots, and I use a little light pink and a yellow one at the top, and another yellow and pink one at the bottom. And I just alternate which one was big and which one was small. And that's all that's in the sketch of those two. but I pulled out my Park Lane gemstones and used the yellow and the orange. I also add a couple of red and pink along the rainbow, not a lot, and then I add a few purple over there by the bird, just to bring a hint of purple in there, because there is purple in the strip at the bottom. So I go ahead and just add a little bit of purple there to bring that extra color in, since this layout is lacking in color and all. So I add 2 little pink rhinestones or gemstones into my heart. I mean, not the heart, but the 2 little pink flowers up there, because they just had like empty holes. And I think that this, other than matting it, I'm pretty sure I'm done. Now, I do come back with some Tim Holtz Snarky, and I add those to the bottom, some journaling that says I do this thing called what I want. Relax, we're all crazy, it's not a competition, and when in doubt, vacation. So I add those to the bottom where it actually says in there journaling. So I put those there, and I love how that turned out. I was going to add musical notes, but changed my mind. I may go back one day or later and do that. I hope that you all will go to Facebook, to the Scrapbook Sketch Facebook page, and join in. We are going to have such a fun time this month documenting and using all the different seasons. I will be back on Friday with summer. Have a great day and happy scrapping.